Howdy, neighbors. Okay. Well, I thought better whip up a quick vidya, talk to you about what we found, what we got done. Let's see. Timing chain. Steve was able to pull it off, and we got he hammered on the crank one and the cam ones in there. We got the pins all lined up, and it's a huge difference compared to the old ones sagging about 2 inches right there. So that's done. The cover is gone, and it's been cleaned and scrubbed and ready to go back on. I'm not going to paint anything. No sense. The water pump is right over here. That'll be going on. I've been carrying that water pump around for a while because I figured that one was going. And it doesn't look bad, but I kept hearing a little ting. Turns out it might have been the timing chain the whole time I was hearing, and the water pump's probably still good, but might as well put a new one on while I'm here. And then we went over to Steve's buddy Rick, who's an outrageous carburetor guy. And this plate was resurfaced, and I bolted it down a little bit ago. So this is all done. I got new gaskets, a new heat gasket for that, which this new carburetor will be sitting on. It's a 2-barrel 350 Holly, and it's the one that I've always wanted for this motor. K&N air filter. So that's waiting to go. I did some cleaning on this end so the gasket will fit. We haven't heard, we didn't hear anything from the valve guys. They're gonna let us know. We'll know Monday what's going on with that. I gotta get a new donut for there. I'm gonna replace a couple of wires here and there. I'm gonna get a new distributor cap and wires. I think those are only 2 years old, but still. So the gaskets are all with the valve guys. They have them. So when they come in, Steve cleaned the pan. We got all the gaskets cleaned off of it. So the oil pan's ready to go on. Steve and I checked the wrist pins. He got underneath and pushed up on the pistons, and I pushed down, and we went back and forth until we checked all of them. There is not a bit of movement in any of them. And then he was underneath, since he was laying under there, and he looked at the, you could see the front main bearing, and he said, it's, basically it looks like it's new. It's super beefy. And he also looked at the thrust bearing, and it's the same. It's same. Nothing bad about the bottom end of this thing. It's a super beefy motor, extremely strong. So those bearings and all that should last. And just having the head cleaned up and the valves redone. They're going to check for wore out springs. They'll replace the guides. They'll reseat the valves, etc., etc. none of that's going to increase power in a way that would mess with the rings that are in here. And the rings are still good. I've got, 125 to 118 compression numbers. So, and nothing looks, we can't see anything that looks not good. Oh, yeah, I gotta get a new rotor. New fuel filter. So, hopefully, definitely we'll know come Monday what the head's doing. So maybe the middle of next week we'll be firing this old sled up. And the fact that I have somebody like Steve to set it all up. When I put it all together the first time, 18 plus years ago, it was just me. I read books. I talked to people on the internet when I could get a hold of them. That was back before cell phones, that were doing all this. I had to use my desktop computer to communicate. And so I've always been leery of everything I did. But according to Mr. Steve, it all's looking pretty good, And the carburetor, come to find out that thing was an Australian carburetor that came off of the guy said it was a Land Rover. So that's why I always had problems with this carburetor. Plus I knew it was too big for what I'd created. So that's nothing more than a paperweight now. So, let's see, what else? I think in between all of this, Steve managed to do like 6 or 7 alignments and a few other odds and ends. And Rosa, his wife, brought us lunch. She's such a sweetheart. Thank you, Rosa. Okay, that's enough of a video for tonight. Y'all have a good Friday night, and I don't know. I don't know how much is going to be done. Oh, that's right. Steve said he's going to shake, rattle, and roll the front end tomorrow. Since we can't do any real, all I can do is a couple of little bits and pieces to the motor, mostly cleaning. But the fact that this thing has never had its suspension worked on in it's working on its 51st year. He's going to take a peek and see if he can improve my front end ride for me. I found a really outrageous set of subscribers actually they found me. So getting excited. Then I can clean up my giant mess here and pack everything away where it's supposed to go. That's the one thing about, my house is all tore up, and 3/4 a chunk of the stuff all goes right up here, and some of it goes underneath, and, I got places to put all my tools, but I can't put them away because I'm in the middle of using them, so. And it's cooling down here, which is way nice. Only supposed to be in the 70s in the next couple of days. Okay, hope that's enough. Thanks for all the tips, everybody. For those of you who think I should throw an oil pump in there, the oil pump's been working beautifully. The engine's super clean, so the only thing that would screw up an oil pump is something getting clogged in it, and there's nothing floating around in this motor. Even after 18 years, it's still super clean. That's because I use Mobile One, by the way. So a Mobile One, if you're listening, you could sponsor me. I got an 18-plus-year-old motor that's only run Mobile One in it, and it's still going strong. Well, kind of. Can't remember if there's anything else I'm supposed to remember. Show you my dirty ashtray. I know I'm forgetting something, but that's a lot to think about. And I'd rather go back to drinking my now warm beer. Oh,